The sun was shining on the sea, shining with all his might. He did his very best to make the billows smooth and bright, and this was odd because it was the middle of the night. The Walrus and the Carpenter were walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand.
If this were only cleared away,
they said,
it would be grand.
Oh, oysters, come and walk with us.
The Walrus did beseech.
A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk along the briny beach. We cannot do with more than 4 to give a hand to each.
Oakland police say most teenage girls get into prostitution the way Darlene did, through a boyfriend they trust, who turns out to be a pimp. They call them Romeo pimps, because they can sweet-talk a girl into anything.
When it comes to pimping hoes, I've been truly educated because I'm so slick. I make hoes turn tricks. Players University, class of 86.
The eldest oyster looked at him, but never a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head, meaning to say he did not choose to leave the oyster bed.
From my car, I spot 2 women. One seems to be the leader, or what people in the game call a bottom girl. She approaches the car, speaks to the driver, and instructs the younger girl to walk over. This is what happened with Brittany and Darlene countless times.
But 4 young oysters hurried up, all eager for the treat. Their coats were brushed, their faces washed, their shoes were clean and neat. And this was odd because, they hadn't any feet. 4 other oysters followed them, and yet another 4, and thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more, all hopping through the frothy waves and scrambling to the shore.
You honestly have to believe that they are more than a girl on the corner. They're somebody's daughter, somebody's niece. They're being sold out there. Some people are standing on the corner selling fruit, while other people are standing on the same corner selling a girl.
The Walrus and the Carpenter walked on a mile or so, and then they rested on a rock, conveniently low, and all the little oysters stood and waited in a row.
The time has come,
the Walrus said,
to talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot and whether pigs have wings.
But wait a bit,
the oysters cried,
before we have our chat, for some of us are out of breath, and all of us are fat.
No hurry,
said the Carpenter. They thanked him much for that.
A loaf of bread,
the Walrus said,
is what we chiefly need. Pepper and vinegar besides are very good indeed. Now if you're ready, oysters dear, we can begin to feed.
But not on us,
the oysters cried, turning a little blue.
After such kindness, that would be a dismal thing to do.
The night is fine,
the Walrus said.
Do you admire the view? It was so kind of you to come, and you are very nice.
The Carpenter said nothing, but...
Cut us another slice. I wish you were not quite so deaf. I've had to ask you twice.
It seems a shame,
the Walrus said,
to play them such a trick, after we've brought them out so far and made them trot so quick.
The Carpenter said nothing, but...
The butter's spread too thick.
There's another kind of pimp, the gorilla pimp, the kind that uses force and fear to get his way. Oakland police estimate a third of teenage girls working in prostitution were abducted and forced onto the streets. Brittany was one of them.
I had got kidnapped when I was 15. I decided to cut school one day. I was in Oakland on Havens Court and Foothill, and all I heard was, "Man, go get that girl." And one of them came out and dragged me by my hair and pulled me into the car.
What do you want?
You.
Brittany says she was gang raped by at least 6 men. She was put on the street in Sacramento by one of them, a 32-year-old who became her pimp.
I weep for you,
The walrus said.
I deeply sympathize.
With sobs and tears, he sorted out those of the largest size, holding his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes.
Oh, oysters,
Said the carpenter.
you've had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again?
But answer came there none. And this was scarcely odd because they'd eaten every one.